They call it the font. One story holds that a sainted holy man devoted to Kelos came to the people and found them cold and shivering in the dark, says the town priest, staring intently into a candle flame. He struck the rock of the mountain with his staff, and fire burst forth, and the people could see and were warm for the first time in their lives. The version I heard is that a demon was threatening the people, so a great hero wrestled him to the ground. The fire erupted around them, and the demon burned, but the hero was unharmed because of his virtue. The mayor shrugs, staring thoughtfully into the distance. All the stories agree about the fire, though, says the priest. It strips away evil and leaves the righteous unburnt. Finally, she turns to face you, pressing a map into your hands. It is simple. Climb the mountain and throw yourself into the flames. You have evil within you, so it will hurt, but if you are faithful and true, you should survive and step out of the fire purified, ready to start your new life. As you travel, you find abandoned farms and empty huts, each with signs of struggle and tracks leading towards your destination. So it is with no surprise that you find Zerahel and her disciples performing a ritual on a collection of innocent villagers just outside the font. Here, where the magic of life is so strong, she intones, will we bring death that you may live forever. She holds a familiar knife aloft, and her minions scramble to bring her first victim, already looking ashen and half dead. Perhaps Zerahel's ritual is taking things a step further than what Kinderthul did to you. The heroes start here. The flesh molders start on the lookout post. The shambling colossus start on the bridge. Zerahel starts here on the graveyard, as well as the Morrow priests on the graveyard. The ritual site is here, the purifying flames over here, and the search tokens here, as well as the captives. Heroes win when they cleanse the combination of 5 of the falling, themselves, or captives in the purifying flames. The Overlord wins by either sacrificing 5 captives at the ritual site, or by defeating all of the heroes. First up for the heroes is Cindril. For skills, she has a Rune Guard, so she has dual class Steelcaster and Necromancer. She has Rune Grafting, Fury of Undeath, Raise Dead, Dark Pact, Shield Mage, Vampiric Blood, Corpse Blast, and Reanimate for her skills. And for items, she has Lightning Strike, Blessed Armor, and Iron Shield. Next up for the heroes is Widow Tara. She's an Arcane Veteran, so she's dual class Battle Mage, and then also Knight. For skills, she has Planar Weapon, Runic Weave, Death Siphon, Advance, Challenge, Oath of Honor, and Defend. And for items, she has Ice Storm and Heavy Cloak. Moving along for the heroes is Brother Garen. He has Vigilance, so he's dual class Watchman and Thief right here. For skills, he has Quick Recovery, Trailblazer, Unity, Greed, Dirty Tricks, Appraisal, and Sneaky. And for items, he has Iron Shield, Leather Armor, Ironbound Ring, Forewarned Ring, and Bone Wand. Last up for the heroes is Tomble. He has Greater Calling, so he is dual class Monk with Disciple. For skills, he has Vow of Freedom, Open-Handed, Blessed Strike, Armor of Faith, Inner Balance, Prayer of Healing, and Cleansing Touch. And for items, he has Lucky Charm, Fists of Iron, and Mana Weave. First up for the Overlord, they have Morrow Priest right here. They have a ranged attack. They get to use yellow and blue dice right here. They get to surge for a little bit extra damage. They have Mortal Binding as another surge, so the hero that they mark can't heal up until either a Morrow Priest or a hero goes down. And then they both have this Shadow Step ability, so when they're attacked, if a surge isn't used, they can kind of move and teleport 5 spaces away after the attack is done. Next up, the Overlord has Shambling Colossus here. They have a melee attack with red and blue dice, and the Master one gets a yellow die. They get the surge right over here for an extra 2 damage. They also have Puncture, so they get to do Pierce based on the number of dice that are rolled for defense. And then the Master one is Harrowing, so when they're attacked within 3 spaces, the heroes have to do a check or else they become terrified if they fail. Moving along, they have Zombies here. They're a melee attacker with yellow and blue dice, and then the Master one also gets to add a red dice. They get to add 2 damage for one of their surges. Their other surge is Disease, so the heroes will have to test willpower. They start losing fatigue. And then the Master one has a grab ability to have the hero test strength. If they fail, they get immobilized. And all of them have this shambling, so they can only move once per turn. Next up for the monsters are the Flesh Molders here. They're a ranged attacker with yellow and blue dice. They get to surge for a little bit, or actually a good amount of extra damage. They have an ability Mend, so search to heal themselves, and then the Master can just use an action to heal, and then we're equipping them with this monster relic,
Robes of the Last, the master minion right here, the red one, will get +2 health, and then each hero within 3 spaces of any one of the monsters in this group gets -1 to their knowledge checks. Also, the Overlord's going to use this Ties That Bind skill right here, which gives them a summon, a servant. It's going to be a Scourge, it's a melee attacker, and then it has an ability to make heroes lose more fatigue if they spend it next to the Scourge. Last up for the Overlord is the Lieutenant Zero Hell right here. She is going to be a ranged attacker with one of each dice. She gets to use Soul Mastery, so when a hero within 3 spaces of her perishes, she gets to have a chance to use them as like a one last mind control attack. She has Tormentress here, which anytime a hero within 3 spaces starts their turn or walks into within 3 spaces of her, they become terrified. She can then use her action Exploit Fear on terrified heroes to have them potentially become stunned. And then she can also surge for a little bit of extra damage. She's going to be equipped with the Azathia's Triumph bow right here, relic. She has more health, and then she also has the action to do 2 damage to a hero in line of sight to shoot them down. We're now on to the travel events. We start in Rothfeld Village. We're going to go all the way over here, and then we have to hit a road event. Let's see what we get. We end up getting right there, no event. We're then going to move along right here before we start the scenario in Profane Nexus. It's going to be a mountain event. Let's see what we get here. We end up getting this. You're caught on the unforgiving slopes during a fierce storm. All right, each hero has to suffer 1 damage and 1 fatigue. All right, Tomble takes the damage and fatigue, so does Sindriel, Widow Tara, and Brother Garen. Tomble's going to go first for the heroes, but first Brother Garen's going to use the Quick Recovery skill and also Unity on Tomble. So we're going to go ahead and roll for Unity for Brother Garen first. Let's go ahead and spend a Fatigue for Quick Recovery here, and then for Unity, they'll also be able to recover Fatigue, but he has to test Willpower. So his Willpower is 4. He ends up, this has to be re-rolled. It was cogged. All right, so he fails, so this gets exhausted, so he can't use it anymore. And then also he's going to be using his Trailblazer ability, so everyone's also going to be able to get +1 movement right now. So let's go ahead and resolve that. All right, we're going to do Trailblazer first, so everyone gets to move up 1 right over here, and then Tombo gets 1 movement, 1 recovery of a fatigue, and heals 1. Go ahead and recover his health and fatigue right there. He's then going to use his first action to add 4 more movement points. So he has now 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right over here. He's then going to use his free Fist of Iron attack to attack this regular minion Shambling Colossus. It's going to be 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a black die, trying to do 7 damage. All right, let's see how much damage he can do here. Let's go ahead and pull all of this out. It looks like we got 4 damage and 2 surges against no defense. The 2 surges, sorry for knocking that, are going to add 2 more damage. So that's going to be 6 damage, not enough to take it out. Let's go ahead and place this 6 damage right over here. It has 1 health left. He's then going to use his second action to go ahead and attack the Shambling Colossus. He's going to use his bare hands. So it's a blue die against a black die, trying to do 1 damage. All right, he does have Pierce X with open-handed here to pierce that much shield. So it looks like 1 damage is going through with Pierce 5 against 2 defense. So that's enough to defeat the Shambling Colossus. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 things. The first thing right here is we're going to spend a fatigue on open-handed. Because we defeated a monster with our bare hands, we get to perform an additional attack. But while this Shambling Colossus gets defeated right here, the Overlord's going to put the Scourge token over there. We go ahead and exhaust the Ties That Bind. Tumble's then going to use his extra attack from open-handed to attack this regular Shambling Colossus. It's 2 yellow dice and a blue die with his Fists of Iron against the black die, trying to do 7 damage. Let's see what he rolls. Let's go ahead and bring all of this out. So it looks like it's going to be 5 damage and 2 surges. So let's pull it out real quick. And then the 2 defense. So the 2 surges are going to be adding 2 more damage. So that's going to be 7 minus 2. So 5 damage goes through. But we're also going to use Mana Weave to get an extra surge, to use the unspent surge to get rid of a fatigue. Let's go ahead and add the 5 damage right there. And that's the end of Tumble's turn. Brother Garen's going to go first. Since he gets to refresh all of his skills, he's going to go ahead and use Quick Recovery on himself to give himself 1 movement, recover 1 health, and then he also has Unity, so he gets to recover fatigue, and then he has to roll for it. All right, we're going to go ahead and recover the health and fatigue, but it also does cost a fatigue for the Quick Recovery. They're going to roll for it with a willpower test of 4, so he has to get 4 or less. Sorry, we're rolling for Unity. He succeeds, so let's go ahead and continue on. But then he's also going to use Trailblazer, so then everyone around him, including himself, will get 1 movement. So let's go ahead and resolve it. All right, we're going to do Trailblazer, so everyone gets 1. So 1 up there, 1 like that, and then 1 right over here. And then he still has his movement point saved up from Quick Recovery. So with the 1 movement, and then he's also going to do a movement action. He gets 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right over here, he's then going to attack the Master Colossus, Shambling Colossus right here with the Bone Wand. He gets 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a black die, trying to do 9 damage, but also he has to test for Harrowing. He's within 3, so let's do that first. His willpower is 4 there, so he has to get 4 or less, or else he gets terrified, so he fails. So we go ahead and give him a terrified card like that. He can't spend surges anymore. Right, onto the attack now. We're going to use his hero ability up here to add a damage to get 1 more. And he also has Sneaky activated. They did not have line of sight of each other at the beginning of the turn, so it's also an extra damage. He does need 2 range, but I think you get 2 range as long as you get a hit. So let's go ahead and pull all this out. It looks like there's going to be 5 damage and 2 surges against 2 defense right here, but because Brother Garen's terrified, they cannot spend surges. So that's going to be 5 minus 2. 3 damage. Actually, it's 6, 7. I forgot about those 2. So 7 minus 2, 5 damage goes through. Let's go ahead and place the 5 damage, and that's the end of Brother Garen's turn. Next up is Widow Tara. She's going to go ahead and use a free action to challenge this Shambling Colossus right here. We're going to go ahead and exhaust that right over there. She's then going to move up to 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go 1, 2, 3, right over here and stop there. She's then going to attack the Shambling Colossus with her Ice Storm rune, 2 yellow die and a blue die against a black die, trying to do 2 damage. She also gets to add the 1 damage from challenge. Let's go ahead and see what she gets right over here. It looks like it's going to be enough damage. We are going to have a couple things go off, but let's go ahead and take out all of this. So it's going to be 5 damage and a surge against 2 defense here. So the 1 surge is going to add 2 more damage. Actually, we could just recover the fatigue with the unspent surge right there. So it's going to be 5 minus 2, 3 damage goes through, which will knock out the Shambling Colossus. So she gets to either recover a health or fatigue. She's going to use that to recover a health. And then also after defeating this monster, we will get to it. We are going to spend a fatigue on advance. So then she gets to move up to her speed and perform another attack. All right, let's start resolving this. She defeated this Shambling Colossus, so we remove it from the map, and then she gets to move up to 4. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and make another attack. She's going to attack the Master Shambling Colossus right here with her Ice Storm rune, 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a black die, trying to do 2 damage, but she has to test for Harrowing first. She has 3 willpower for the Harrowing test. Let's see if she gets terrified. She succeeds, so she's good. Now it's onto the attack right here. She has to do 4 damage, so it's 2 yellow and a blue against a black die. I almost lost it there. Let's go ahead and see what she gets. Let's pull this all out. It looks like there's going to be 5 damage and a surge against 3 defense, so she's going to use the surge for 2 more damage. So that's going to be 7 minus 3. 4 damage goes through and knocks out the Shambling Colossus. She's then going to use Death Siphon to go ahead and recover her fatigue, but then she's also going to spend the fatigue to advance, so she gets to move up to her speed and make another attack. We're going to go ahead and remove the Master Shambling Colossus from the map. She then gets to move up to her speed. She's going to go right here and attack the Scourge. She gets to roll with her Ice Storm, 2 yellow and a blue die against a brown die, trying to do 7 damage. All right, let's go ahead and see what we get here. It looks like we got 5 damage and 2 surges. Let's go ahead and pull this out real quick. And then the Scourge got 2 defense. So we are going to use the first surge for 2 more damage, and the other surge that's going to be unspent to remove the fatigue right there. So that's going to be 7 minus 2, 5 damage goes through. Let's go ahead and place the 5 right here, and that's the end of Widow Tara's turn. Last up is Sindriel. She's going to go ahead and use the fatigue for Raise Dead to place her reanimate right over there. Let's give her a fatigue for that. She's then going to use her second action to move 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4 right there, and that's the end of her turn. And then the reanimate's going to go. The reanimate's going to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3 right here. It's then going to attack the Flesh Molder. It gets a red, blue, and yellow die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 5 damage. All right, let's see how much damage we can do here. Let's go ahead and pull all of this out. It looks like we have 3 damage and 2 surges, and then there are 2 defense right here. So the only surge we can do is 1 more damage. So that's going to be 4 minus 2. 2 damage goes through. Let's go ahead and place the 2 damage right there, and that's the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they draw a card. They end up getting Pit Trap. The Morrow Priests are going to go first. This Master one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, end its turn and pick up this captive villager right there. This one's going to go next. It's going to do 2 movements of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and end its turn right over there. The Scourge is then going to move 1 space up over here. It's going to attack Widow Tara with a blue die and a red die against a gray die and a heavy cloak. And also, Sindriel is within 3 spaces, so she's going to help with the Shield Mage ability, so they also get the Iron Shield. Alright, we're going to exhaust Shield Mage right over here for the Iron Shield Passover. Let's see how much the Scourge can do here. It looks like they got 5 damage and a Surge. There are no Surge abilities. With 1 defense, we are also going to use the Iron Shield to add 1 more, so that's 2 defense. So 5 minus 2, 3 damage goes through. So we're going to go ahead and place that on Widow Tara like that. The Flesh Molders are going to go next. This regular one's going to attack the Reanimate right there. It's a yellow die and a blue die against a brown die, trying to do 4 damage. It does need 1, 2, 3 range. All right, let's see if it gets the 3 range first. It got the range, so we're going to go ahead and bring this out right over here. So it's going to be 2 damage plus a Surge. So the Surge is going to be used to do 2 more damage, which would be 4 damage to knock out the Reanimate, but Sindriel is going to take the damage instead with Dark Pact. So we're going to exchange the 1 for 5 like that, and then the Flesh Molder gets to continue its turn. It's going to move. It gets to move 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. End of its turn, it's going to go ahead and grab this captive like that. This regular Flesh Molder is going to go next. Its first action is to attack the Reanimate with a yellow die and a blue die against a brown die, trying to do 4 damage. All right, let's see how much damage we can do here. Doesn't need range because it's right next to it. Looks like we're probably going to get the 4 damage, so it's going to be 3 damage and a Surge against no defense right there. The Surge for up here is 2 more damage, so that's going to be 5 damage. This time Sindriel is not going to take the damage, so the Reanimate gets knocked out. Go ahead and remove the Reanimate from the map. It's then going to move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then end its turn and go ahead and grab this captive, and then we'll move the damage right there. Next up is also this regular Flesh Molder. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then use its second action to move right there, end its turn, and then grab this captive right there. Last up is the Master one. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right over here. It's going to attack Sindriel with 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a gray die and needs 1, 2, 3, 4 range. She also has Blessed Armor, so it's another gray die that I almost forgot about. So let's see if we get the 4 range right over here. It looks like we got the range. Let's go ahead and bring out all the damage. It looks like there's going to be, it's stuck in there. All right, give me a second. That was 1 damage. This is embarrassing. All right, so that's another damage. So 3 damage and a Surge against 1 defense right over here. So the Surge for the Master one's going to add 3 more. So 6 minus 1, 5 damage goes through. We're going to go ahead and place that right there. And that's the end of the Flesh Molder's turn. Rahel is going to go last. She's going to go ahead and stop next to the Ritual Site. At the end of the Overlord's turn, they get to spawn a Shambling Colossus right here. Tomble's going to go first. He's going to go 1, 2, 3. He's going to interrupt his movement for a free attack with his Fist of Iron action right here on the Scourge. 2 yellow die and a blue die against a brown die, trying to do 2 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through. Just trying to do 2 damage. It looks like we're going to get there, but let's go ahead and pull it all out. It's going to be 4 damage and 2 Surges against the defense. The 2 Surges for 2 more damage. So it's 6 against 1. 5 damage goes through and knocks out the Scourge. Let's go ahead and remove the Scourge from the map right there, but then the Overlord's going to go ahead and use Possessive, so then Tomble's going to take 2 damage, and then the Overlord gets to use him for an attack. They're going to take Tomble to attack Widow Tara here with 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a gray die and a heavy cloak, but let's go ahead and do the damage, then the attack. All right, let's see how much damage that goes through here. Oh, I almost forgot the 2 damage that Tomble takes, so he takes the 2 right here, and then he gets 2, 3 damage and a Surge right here against 1 defense, but then Widow Tara is going to use her Runic Weave instead of her Cloak to get rid of a Surge, so it's going to be 3 damage minus 1. 2 goes through, so we exchange the 3 here for a 5. He did way back earlier interrupt his movement, so he had 1 more, so he's going to go 1 right there, and then his next action is going to move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then grab this captive right over here like that. Brother Garen's going to go next. He's going to use Quick Recovery on himself, so he gets 1 movement and gets to heal 1, and then Unity also lets him get to heal Fatigue, but then he has to roll for it. Right, so we're going to add 1 Fatigue for the Quick Recovery over here. He then gets to heal up 1 Fatigue and 1 Health, but we're going to roll for Willpower, which is 4, so he has to get 4 or less. He succeeds, so this is not exhausted. He's going to use the one movement right here to go like that, and then his first action is to search this. He ends up getting this right here, which is nothing. He's actually going to use Appraisal to draw a new card, and has to keep that instead. So he ends up getting a Stamina Potion. He's then going to use his second action to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3. He is out of line of sight from everyone, so he gets to get rid of his Terrified card. Indriel's going to go next. She's going to go ahead and do Raise Dead with her Reanimate right over there. Let's go ahead and place the Fatigue like that. He's then going to use a movement action, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then spend a Fatigue to move one more space there, and then grab the Captive. Like that. Let's go ahead and give her the Fatigue. Reanimate's going to go next. It's going to 1, 2, interrupt its movement to attack the Master Flesh Molder. It's a red, blue, and yellow die against 9 health, against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 9 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through. Let's go ahead and pull this all out. It looks like it's going to be 5 damage and then a surge, and the surge is going to be for 1 more damage. So it's 6 against the 3 defense here, so 3 damage goes through. Let's go ahead and place the 3 damage right there, and then we get to complete the movement right over there. Widow Tara is going to go last. She's going to go 1, 2, 3. Right when she's in this space, Brother Garen's going to use Trailblazer, so they all get to move 1 space. Let's go ahead and exhaust Trailblazer. Brother Garen gets to move 1. Widow Tara gets to move 1 right up over here, and then Sindriel gets to move 1 right there. And then Widow Tara has 1 more movement to go 1 like that. She's then going to use her second action to move 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they get to draw a card, which is Tripwire. The Maru Priests are going to go next. This one's going to end its turn right here, and then go ahead and grab this Captive. The Master Maru Priest is going to go next. It's going to start with attacking Widow Tara. It needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range, with 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a gray die and a heavy cloak. All right, let's see if we get the 5 range first. It looks like we got the range, so we're going to go ahead and bring out all the damage here. So it's going to be 4 damage and a surge against 3 defense. Widow Tara is going to use her Runic Weave, so she doesn't have to use her cloak to get rid of the surge. So 4 minus 3, 1 damage goes through. Its second action is to move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right over here, and that's the end of the Maru Priest's turn. Then Colossus is going to go next. It's going to pick itself up and then use this 1 movement right over here and expand before it's going to interrupt its movement. It's going to attack the Reanimate right here. It's a red die, blue die, and yellow die against a brown die, trying to do 4 damage. All right, let's see if it can do the 4 damage. It looks like it got a miss, but the Overlord's going to use Dark Fortune to re-roll this die, so let's go ahead and take that out. Let's give it a jiggle and then drop it down again. Whoops, has to go into the tower. All right, looks like we got enough damage, so let's go ahead and bring it out to total it all up. It's going to be 4 damage and a surge. The surge is going to add 2 more. It also has punctures, so this 1 doesn't matter. So 6 damage is enough to knock out the Reanimate. Let's go ahead and remove that. So we did 1, and then 2, 3, and expand right there. And that's the end of the Shambling Colossus's turn. Next up are going to be the Flesh Molders. The Master one's it only has 1 movement because it starts in the sludge. It's going to go like that. And then it's going to go ahead and use the heal ability on itself. All right, let's see how much it heals. Ends up healing 3. Go ahead and remove the 3 right there. And that's the end of the Flesh Molder's turn. This Flesh Molder's next has a speed of 1, so it's going to move 1 and then 1 right there. So that's the end of that one's. This one's going to go next. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Zerahell's next. She's going to go ahead and use her first action to turn this captive next to the ritual site into a zombie like that. She's then going to use her second action to go over here, 1, 2, on this side of the ritual site. That's the end of her turn. The zombie's then going to go 3, 1, 2, 3, right over there. And that's the end of the Overlord's turn. At the end of the Overlord's turn, they get to spawn another Shambling Colossus at the entrance right there. Brother Garen's going to go first. He's going to go ahead and use Trailblazer, so him and Sindriel get to move 1 right here, as well as he's going to use a Stamina Potion on Sindriel. Let's go ahead and exhaust Trailblazer, as well as flip over the Stamina Potion to recover all of this fatigue. Brother Garen's then going to move 3 spaces with the move action 1, 2, 3. He's then going to spend 1 fatigue to do Greedy to go ahead and search this spot right here like that. And go ahead and spend the fatigue for Greedy, and then he has Appraisal, so if he doesn't like it, he can grab a new one. He gets a health potion. He's actually going to keep that. Sindriel's going to go next. She's going to use her Heroic Feat, so herself and Tombo get to do a free movement action.
So we're going to flip over her card to show that she did her heroic feat. She's going to move 1 right there. Right when she moves there, the Overlord's going to use Tripwire, so she has to test awareness. If she fails, she loses her movement action. Her awareness is 2. She gets to roll 2 gray dice instead of a gray and a black die, so she's trying to get 2 or less. She ends up failing, so she loses her movement action. Tomble still gets to do his movement of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Indriel's then going to use her first action to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right when she lands on her last space, the Overlord's going to use Pit Trap this time, so if she fails the test, she gets stunned. Her awareness is 2, and then she has the Blessed Armor, so she has to get 2 or less. So let's see if she gets stunned. She fails, so we go ahead and give her stun. Let's go ahead and place that there. She's then going to use her last action to get rid of the stun. Widow Tara is going to go next. She's going to move 1, 2, interrupt her movement action to use the healing potion on Sindriel, and then she's going to go 3, 4 like that right there. Right, she's able to use the health potion as if it's in her pack because of Brother Garen's Unity, so she's going to flip that over and recover all of Sindriel's health. Tomble's going to go next. He's going to spend 4 fatigue to get 4 movement, so they do get to move through zombies in this scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4 right over there. Go ahead and place the 4 fatigue on him like that. When he goes within 3 spaces of 0 health, he does get terrified. Then going to use his free Fist of Iron attack to attack 0 health here. 2 yellow die and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 21 damage. Alright, he is terrified, so he can't spend surges. Let's go ahead and roll all of this. So let's pull this out. This is going to be very bad because it's going to be only 1 damage and 2 surges against 3 defense. No damage goes through. One of the unused surges, though, can be spent to recover fatigue. His first action is then to attack this Master Morrow Priest. It's going to be with his Fist of Iron, 2 yellow dice, and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 10 damage. All right, let's see how much damage we can do here. Let's go ahead and pull all of this out. It looks like it's going to be no damage because it's going to be 4 damage against 4 defense, so no damage goes through, and then the Master Morrow Priest is going to use Shadow Step to move 5 spaces because no surge was spent or could be spent to stop it. All right, the Shadow Step's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right up over there. Tumble's second action is then to pop off the map with his heroic feat and put his hero token right there. So we're going to flip this over. That does get rid of Terrified, and that's the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they draw a card which is unblinking. The Morrow Priests are going to go next. This Master one's going to move 1, interrupt its movement to attack Widow Tara here. It needs 1, 2, 3, 4 range. It's 2 yellow die and a blue die against a gray die and a heavy cloak, but also Sindriel's within 3 spaces, so she's going to use Shield Mage to also hand off the Iron Shield. All right, let's see if 4 range can go through. It looks like we got the range. Let's go ahead and try to bring out all of this. I know the screen is full right now, so 3 damage. -1. She's also going to use the Iron Shield that she got handed over for another defense. So only 1 damage goes through. So we're going to do that. But then also Sindriel is going to spend a fatigue. Sorry, this has to get exhausted as well. Spend a fatigue to get these 2 back. All right, let's go ahead and place the fatigue there. It's then going to continue its movement. It did 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up right there. That's the end of that Morrow Priest turn. All right, this Morrow Priest is going to go 1. Sorry, has the captive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Overlord's also going to use Dash here to go ahead and move this right next to the altar like that. So we're going to go right over there. The Shambling Colossus get to go next. This one's going to pick up and choose this spot. 1, 2, 3, expand. And then it's going to pick itself up, choose this spot. 1, 2, 3, and then expand right there. We're going to go all the way over to this one right here. 1, 2, 3, expand, and then move again. 1, 2, 3, expand. Flesh Molders are going to go next. The Master one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 right over there. All right, this one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And since the line of sight is blocked, it can't do any attacks. All right, this one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and stay right over there. This one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and also stay right over there. Zero Hell is going to go next. She's going to use her first action to go ahead and turn this captive into a zombie right over here. And then her second action is to also turn this captive right over here into another zombie. Next up are the zombies. This one's going to attack Widow Tara. It's a yellow die and a blue die against a gray die and a heavy cloak, trying to do 8 damage. All right, let's see how much damage it goes through. It looks like there's going to be 3 damage and 2 surges. There's going to go ahead and be a defense here. They're going to use Runic Weave instead of the heavy cloak to get rid of 1 surge, and the other surge is going to add 2 more damage, so 5 against 1. 4 damage goes through, so we're going to change the 1 for 5 there. It then gets to move 3 spaces. It's going to go 1, 2, right over there, and then this one's going to go next. Sorry, it's caught on. 1, 2, interrupt its movement, do an attack on Widow Tara. It's going to be a yellow die and a blue die against a gray die. Sindriel this time is going to use her shield mage to hand off the iron shield. All right, she has 14 health, so it's trying to do 3 damage here. Let's go ahead and see what we get. It looks like we get 3 damage and a surge. So she is going to use the iron shield for another defense and get rid of the surge. So it's going to be 3 against 2. 1 damage goes through, and then Sindriel, this also gets exhausted, is going to spend a fatigue to get these 2 back. Let's go ahead and spend the fatigue. It gets 1 more movement, so it's going to go ahead and go back there. This one's going to go 1, 2, and then attack her with the same thing, interrupting its movements. Yellow die and a blue die against a gray die, and she's also going to use her shield mage ability again to hand off the iron shield. We're going to go ahead and remember to exhaust the shield mage ability right there. She has 14 health, so 2 left. Let's go ahead and see if the zombie can finish it off. It looks like there's going to be 3 defense right here, and then she's going to use the iron shield for 1 more, so it's only 1 more damage, so she's still alive. It has 1 more movement, so it's going to go ahead and back up, and that's the end of the Overlord's turn. I also get a Shambling Colossus at the entrance. Combo's going to go first for the heroes. He does get to pop away or pop up 4 spaces from the spot, so 1, 2, 3, 4 right over here. So he's going to go right here like that. He's then going to spend 2 fatigue to get 2 movements. 1, 2, right over here. Let's go ahead and add the 2 fatigue. We're then going to use the free Fist of Iron attack on this regular minion Flesh Molder. It's 2 yellow die and a blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 5 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through. It looks like we have 4 damage, 5 damage, and a surge against 2 defense. So let's go ahead and add another surge with Mana Weave. And then we're going to use the 2 surges down here for 2 more damage. So that's going to be 7 against 3. 4 damage goes through. All right, let's go ahead and place the 4 damage right here. He's then going to use his first actual action to attack the other Flesh Molder. 2 yellow die and a blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 5 damage again. All right, let's see how much damage we can do. Let's go ahead and roll all of this. It looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 2 defense. So once again, only 4 damage goes through. Go ahead and place the 4 damage, and then his last action is to attack that one right there, trying to do 1 damage with his Fist of Iron, 2 yellow and a blue against a gray and a brown. He actually has a plan. He's trying to knock out both of them, so he's going to use his open-handed bare hands on this Flesh Molder. So it's a blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 1 damage. All right, he does get Pierce equal to the range. He either wants a Surge or a Miss. Let's go ahead. We got the Surge, so we do get to Pierce 2 as well. So it looks like the 2 damage is going through. We get to use an unspent Surge to go ahead and get a Fatigue, and you are allowed to use skills within the same attack. So we're then going to spend that on open-handed and get 1 more additional attack. All right, so this Flesh Molder gets knocked out, drops its captive right there, and then he gets to use his open-handed attack, but he's going to go back to the Fist of Iron on this Flesh Molder. 2 yellow die and a blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do the 1 damage. All right, we're trying to do 1 damage here. Let's go ahead and see if we can finish it off. It looks like we got 3 surges and a damage against 2 defense, so I do believe we're going to get enough to knock him out, because the 2 surges is 2 more, so 3 against 2 is 1 damage, and the other unspent surge is going to remove a fatigue like that. So we're going to go ahead, and this one also drops its captive. Brother Garen's going to go next. He's going to go ahead and use Trailblazer, so they each get to move up 1, him and Sindriel right there. We get to go ahead and exhaust this. He's then going to move 6 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right over there, and that's the end of his turn. Widow Tara's going to go next. She's going to move 4 spaces twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up over there. That's the end of her turn. She's also going to spend 4 fatigue to get 4 more movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, right over there like that, to be next to one of the purifying flames. Let's go ahead and place the 4 fatigue like that. She's then going to embrace the fire next to one of these. She takes 5 damage and rolls a red die. If she ends up taking enough damage to knock her out. She ends up getting cleansed, removes her tainted card, all of her health, and her fatigue. All right, she is going to take enough damage, but we're just going to go for the motion, and then also, so she's taking 8 damage. So instead, she's untainted right here, or cleansed, and then she gets to remove all of this right here. Cindriel is going to go next. She's going to do 2 movements of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 right over here next to the wall. That's the end of the hero's turn.
At the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they draw a card, which ends up being Restless Spirit. Also, at the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they get to place a Flesh Molder on the graveyard. The Shambling Colossus are going to go next. This one's going to pick itself up and go 1, 2, 3, expand. And then it's going to go 1, 2 over here. Pick up this captive right here. All right, they're going to pick this up and go 1, 2, 3, expand. And then pick this up and go 1, 2, 3, expand right over there. This Shambling Colossus is going to go next. It's going to pick itself up and use this spot, 1, 2, 3, and expand. And then it's going to pick itself up, 1, 2, 3, and expand like that. Zerahel is going to go next. She's going to go 1, 2 right over here, interrupt her movement to attack Tomble here, the red, blue, and yellow die against a red die, trying to do 10 damage. All right, let's see the range. Ends up getting the 2 range is what she needed. So let's pull this all out. It's going to be a lot of damage. I said she needed 10 damage, but she only needs 8. He already had 2 damage on himself. So he got 2 defense. So it's going to be 1 surge right here for 2 more damage. The other ones are wasted. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, minus 2. 7 damage goes through. So let's go ahead and add that. 5, 6, 7. He almost got knocked out there. She's then going to go 1, 2 right over there. That's the end of her turn. All right, this Flesh Molder is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right over here. And its second action is to attack Tomble here. And it's 2 range with the yellow die and a blue die against a gray die, trying to do 1 damage. All right, let's see what we got right here. We end up getting 6 range. So it's going to be 3 damage minus no defense. Tomble gets knocked out. So we go ahead and flip his Tainted card, which is Perfect Peace. Apply -1 to Might and Willpower. We also have to fill up his health and stamina like that. We remove his figure from the map and place his hero token right there. The Overlord also gets to draw a card, which ends up being Frenzy. This other Flesh Molder is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right over here, and then pick up this captive like that. And then the Master Flesh Molder is going to move twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 up over there. Maru Priest is going to go next. It's going to do 2 movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. It's going to go ahead and grab this captive like that and then end its turn. All right, this Maru Priest is going to go next. This one is the master one. It's going to attack Brother Garen here. It needs 1, 2, 3, 4 range. It's 2 yellow dice and a blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 17 damage. All right, let's see if he gets the 4 range here. Go ahead. Looks like we got the range. Let's go ahead and pull all of this out. It looks like there is 5 damage and 2 surges, and against 2 defense right over here. We do get 1 defense because we got a blank, and then we are going to Iron Shield. We could re-roll this. Let's go ahead and re-roll this. Hope that we get like a 2. Whoops, I dropped it. Let's see if we get a 2. We end up getting the 1, which is the same thing. So we have 2 defense, and then 1 surges for 1 more damage, and the other surges for Mortal Binding. So let's add that all up. It's going to be 6 minus 2, 4 damage, and a Mortal Binding goes through. So let's add the 4 damage. We're going to go ahead and add the Mortal Binding right there. I'm going to move all the way around the corner. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 right here and block Cindriel's path. The zombies are last. This one's going to go 1, 2, 3 right here. It's going to attack Brother Garen with a blue die and a yellow die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 13 damage. All right, let's see how much damage it can do. Ends up being a miss. All right, this zombie's going to go 1, 2, 3 right over here. It's going to attack Brother Garen with a blue die and a yellow die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 13 damage. All right, let's go ahead and see this. Let's pull this all out. This one got stuck up there, so I can't see it. Looks like there's going to be 3 damage against 3 defense. Well, this is counting as a 1, so no damage goes through. This last zombie is going to go 1, 2, 3 right here and attack Brother Garen. A blue die and a yellow die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 13 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through. looks like we got 3 damage, so let's go ahead and bring that out. And then it looks like, sorry, it was off screen. We got 1 defense there, and then a blank, which is going to be 1 for there. So 3 minus 2, 1 damage goes through. So we exchange the 4 for a 5 right there. Brother Garen's going to go next. He's going to attack Zero Hell here. He needs to get 1, 2, 3, 4 range with his Boned Wand. It's 2 yellow dice and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 21 damage. He's also going to use his hero ability to take a damage to add 1 more. So let's go ahead and see if we get the 4 range first. Looks like we got the range. Let's bring out all of this. It looks like we got 3 damage and a surge against, it looks like, hold on. Oops, I moved it. 2 defense right over here. And then the 1 surge is going to add 2 more damage. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 2, 4 damage goes through. All right, let's go ahead and place the 4 damage right there. And we're going to go ahead and do the same attack. Once again, need 1, 2, 3, 4 range, 2 yellow and a blue against 2 gray, trying to do 17 damage this time. We're going to go ahead and add 1 damage right here for the hero ability. Let's see if we can get the 4 range. That's the part that matters first. So we did get the range. No surges. Oops, I knocked over everything. Let's go ahead and add all this out. So it looks like there's 5 damage. There is going to be 3 defense plus 1 more damage for the hero ability. So 6 minus 3, 3 damage goes through. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove the 2 right there for the 5. That's the end of Brother Garen's turn. Syndra is going to go next. She's going to go ahead and spend 2 fatigue to move 2 to go right up over there. Let's go ahead and add the 2 fatigue onto her like that. Indriel is then going to attack Zero Hell here. She needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range. It's 2 yellow dice and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 14 damage now. All right, let's see if we get the range there. I don't think we got the range. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We needed 5, so that's unfortunately a miss. She's going to do the same attack once again. Let's go ahead and roll this. She also gets a miss right there. Widow Tara's next. There's nothing she can do from having the Overlord, from stopping the Overlords from winning next turn. She's going to try to grab an item from the search to have for the next encounter. She's going to go ahead here and then do search. Let's see what she gets. She ends up getting this right here, which is a curse doll, and that's the end of the hero's turn. At the beginning of the Overlord's turn, they draw a card, which is Dark Silhouette. This regular flesh molder is going to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's then going to attack Sindril. It needs 1, 2, 3, 4 range, a yellow die, and a blue die against 2 gray dice and an iron shield, trying to do 16 damage. Sorry, it needs to do 14 damage. Let's see if it gets the 4 range right over here. Looks like we got the 4 range. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Looks like we got 3 damage and a surge against 2 defense. We're going to go ahead and add 1 more defense for the iron shield. And the surge is going to add 2 more damage. So 5 minus 3, 2 damage goes through. All right, this flesh molder is going to go next. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right over here. And then it's going to attack Sindril with a yellow die and a blue die against 2 gray dice. It also needs to get 2 range, but it's probably going to get it. All right, let's see if the 2 range happens. All right, that's actually a miss, and there's no way to re-roll it. Master Flesh Molder is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right over here, and then attack Sindril with 2 yellow dice and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 12 damage. All right, let's see. It looks like we got 5 damage and 2 surges, and then we have 4 defense right here. The surge for men doesn't matter because it hasn't taken any damage, but we are going to use the surge for 3 more damage. So that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minus 4. 4 damage goes through, so we exchange the 1 for a 5. All right, the Overlord's going to use this Frenzy card to go ahead and have this Flesh Molder, the Master One, attack Sindriel again. It needs 2 range with 2 yellow dice and a blue die against 2 gray dice, trying to do 8 damage. All right, let's go ahead and see this. Looks like we have 5 damage and 2 surges against 5 defense right here. That is a good amount of defense. We are going to, it is the Master One. The men doesn't matter for the surge, but the +3 does. So we're going to use that. So that's going to be 8 minus 5. 3 damage goes through. Like that. The Shambling Colossuses are going to go next. This one with the captive is going to count from here. 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to expand over here. And then it's just going to go 1, 2, 3 right over here and expand. And then stop right there. All right, the zombies are going to be next. This one's going to attack Brother Garen, a blue die and a yellow die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 10 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through, and that's a miss. Next up is going to be this zombie. It's going to attack Brother Garen, blue and yellow against a gray and a brown, trying to do 10 damage. All right, Let's see how much damage that goes through. This one was cogged, so we have to re-roll it. All right, looks like there's probably not going to be damage because it's, what, 4 defense? And let's pull this out. Right there, 3 against 4, so nothing goes through. This last zombie is going to also attack Brother Garen. Blue and yellow against a gray and a brown, trying to do 10 damage once again. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Looks like there's going to be 4 damage against, it looks like at least 1 defense was rolled, and then the blank over here has to go on the ring, counts as another. So 4 minus 2, 2 damage goes through. Let's go ahead and place that right there. All right, it's going to move 1, 2, 3 right over here. It's saying the Morrow Priest is then going to attack Brother Garen with 2 yellow dice and blue die against a gray die and a brown die, trying to do 8 damage. All right, let's see how much damage goes through right here. Let's pull this all out. Looks like there's 2 defense, and then there's going to be 1 damage and 3 surges. The only surge that matters is 1 more damage, so 2 against 2, no damage goes through. I forgot way earlier because I'm about to get to it. This did have 1 more movement. It wanted to go over here to be able to expand, so because you'll see that in just a moment. But before we get to that, the Morrow Priest is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then second movement is going to be right over here. Zero Hell is going to go first. She's going to use her first action to turn this captive into a zombie, and then she's going to use her second action to turn this other captive into a zombie, which is now 5 of them. So the Overlord wins the first encounter.
You struggle forward, desperate to cleanse these poor unfortunates, but it is of no use. The captives themselves turn against you as Zerahell's magics complete their transformation. Your attempts to purify yourself, then, are interrupted by the arrival of the Death Knight, Artus X Erebus. You have done well. You have created a new legion for the Master's army, one that I will command. Artus clenches one mailed fist, and the newly created soldiers of his legions fall in, standing at attention with their eyes glazed over. You see more and more soldiers emerging from hidden places, not all of them human. Zerahell has clearly been at work for longer than you thought. It is time to put my new army to the test. Rasp, Artus. We march on Rothfeld, and then into Terranoth. We will bring the Deccan lords to their knees. So saying, he and his army depart. Well, asked Zerahell, aren't you going to stop him? She almost smiles as she vanishes into the mist.
In encounters, all of the heroes get to recover all of their fatigue. So that's from Sindriel, Brother Garen, as well as Tombul. Heroes get to flip their character sheet face up. So Sindriel gets her heroic feat back, and so does Tombul, like that. Widow Tara gets to keep her search card. A knocked out heroes like Tombul get to do a free stand-up action, so it looks like he gets to heal 3, so we'll exchange the 5 for a 2. And the Overlord gets to keep their 4 cards for the next encounter. Next up will be the epic finale to see which side wins, either the heroes or the Overlord.